I'm Dr. One and one of the director of Monday meeting.
I'm Ninelia, and we are excited to have professionals from Armanino today to talk with you all.
So before the meeting begin, we have some announcement first. On Wednesday, we have a meeting with Greenhouse and Jen from 12 to 1 p.m. So they will presenting about how to improve the virtual networking. And later on Wednesday, we have the meet the firm with the regional local firm from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. So don't forget to create professional, have some questions ready for the firm you want to talking about, and do the research ahead of your meeting. And lastly will be on Saturday, we will have a mock interview from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So it's a perfect opportunity for you to practice your interview skill and practice behavior interview question. So this is an AA exclusive event, so you will have received an email by now from our marketing, from our event team. So make sure to enroll in this one. So we encourage everyone to have the camera on and please wait until the end to ask a question with the raise your right hand feature on Zoom. So with further ado, feel free to take it away, Nanya.
Without further ado, we have Tara Williams from Armanino presenting on requisite professional skills.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So like they said, if you guys could please have your cameras on, we would really appreciate that so that we can see who we're talking to. It doesn't matter if you're in your pajamas or at home on your bed, we're totally cool with that. We know it's 2021. So yeah, we are going to start off with introductions of who we have with us today from Armanino. Then we are going to introduce our firm to you via a game of trivia and Kahoot. So some of you have already played this because we've been on other presentations, so it'll be a good test to how much you remember. And if you haven't played it, don't worry, it's just a game, just for fun. But there are prizes at stake, so try your best. Then we are going to talk about requisite professional skills. So let's start out with some introductions. So I will go first. My name's Tara Williams. I was our SoCal campus recruiter up until a week ago. Someone took my place. Her name's Molly. She's really great. I just transitioned into a different role at the firm in HR, but she has a conflicting event, so I am presenting today. So a little bit about me. I've been at the firm a little bit over 2 years now, and I actually got my accounting degree from CSUN, did public accounting for a little bit, and then switched into more of the people side. So I know exactly what this whole recruiting process is like. Feel your pain. So Ken, do you want to go next?
Sure. Thanks, Tara. My name is Ken Tiesdell. I'm an audit partner in our Woodland Hills office. I've been with Armanino just shy of 6 years now. I came by way of merger. My firm merged in with Armanino and created our Woodland Hills office. I am also a CSUN grad and went through the recruiting process just like everybody else did. So believe me, I have empathy for all of you, and as you navigate through the final years of your CSUN career and transitioning into your professional life. So pleasure to be with you and looking forward to our discussion.
Thanks, Ken. All right, Kelsey, you're next.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kelsey. I am a consulting manager at Armanino. I work specifically in the business outsource services division of consulting. I have been with the firm for a little over 4 years. I actually came to the firm also as a result of a merger, similar to Ken. And so I've been in the role that I have right now for almost 6 years. And I work out of our West LA office. I used to be in Woodland Hills with Ken, but now I'm in West LA. And I went to UCLA and was an economics major, but grew up in the Valley. So very familiar with CSUN. 3 of my siblings went there, so definitely know CSUN.
We missed you, Kelsey.
I know. All right, Liz, you're up next.
Hi, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Johansson, and I'm a senior tax associate in the Woodland Hills office. I'm actually switching from Kelsey, so I originally was in the West LA office, and now I've moved over to Woodland Hills because I live in the Valley. I graduated from Loyola Marymount University, but my sister went to CSUN, so I'm very familiar with the campus. And I came into Armanino about 3 years ago through campus recruiting. So I was recruited on campus joined Armanino and I'm loving it. And I've been here for 3 years. So.
Thanks, Liz. All right, so now we are going to play a game of trivia. So professionals, you guys can play along, but don't log in just because don't want you guys cheating and winning. So I'm going to share my screen and let's see. Okay, can you guys, oh wait, hold on. I want to share the sound because I like the lobby music. How about that? So
There it is. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So students, you can download the Kahoot app and type in this game pin, or you can go to kahoot.it and put in this game pin. I counted, it looks like there's 17 of you, so I will wait for this person counter to be 17 and we'll get started. Like I said, there are prizes for first, second, and third place, so try your best.
Tell me what you like about this music, Tara. I'm a little concerned.
Just fun. It also makes it less awkward that I'm just standing here and, you know.
That is true. That is true. All right, I'll give you that. Fine.
I like it. Oh, and I forgot to mention it gives random animal names, which is just fun. All right, we're almost there. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys 30 more seconds. We'll start. Okay, kind of slowed down. Does anyone need more time? Just, I can't see all of you, so just unmute and say I need more time. All right, I'm gonna get started then. Okay, I'm gonna start. So here we go. Also, this is a game of speed and knowledge. So the questions are gonna go pretty fast. You have 10 seconds to answer, so try to be as fast as you can. So here we go. All right, so first question, how many years has Armanino been in business? 56, 68, 36, or 104? Yes, so the correct answer is 68. So we started in 1953. So let's move on to the next one. Let's see who's in the lead. So I don't know who Snowy Horse is, but good job. You guys are in the lead. Okay, true or false? Armanino is part of the top 25 largest firms in the nation. All right, so good job, everyone. The answer is true. So we used to be, I think, number 24 or 23, but we did a couple of acquisitions / mergers this year. Now we're like 21 or 20. It just depends on the data that you look up. So let's go. Oh, good job, Snowy Horse, still in the lead. So let's go to the next one. Okay, true or false? Armanino is the largest Texas-based CPA and consulting firm. All right, good job to the three of you who said false. So we are the largest based CPA and consulting firm, but not in Texas, in California. So we started up in San Ramon and California, and we have expanded nationwide. So let's go to the next one. Radiant Kitten, I love that name. All right, let's move on to the next. So how many office locations does Armanino have as of today? 26, 6, 12, or 20? All right, good job to 2 of you who guessed 20. So this number is always evolving because we are always growing, but just at the beginning of fall recruiting, it was actually 18, and we merged with a firm in New York City and St. Louis, so it grew to 20. So let's move on to the next one. Ooh, it's getting competitive. All right, so how many employees does Armanino have as of today? 700, 3,000, 2,000, or 1,000? So the correct answer is 2,000. So good job to most of you who guessed that. And this number is always evolving as well. Ooh, Silly Cheetah is on fire. All right. So Armanino often refers to something called our PVAs. What does this stand for? Purpose, values, and anchors, purpose, values, and accolades, precision, value, and adaptability, or potatoes, veggies, and anchovies? All right, good job, most of you. It is purpose, values, and anchors. So these are things that we really live by. Some of them are growth, entrepreneurialism, innovation, firm first, positive energy. There's so many. So we truly live by these and consider them in promotions and who we hire and who we acquire and who we merge with. So they're really part of our foundation. All right, good job, Radiant Kitten, back in the lead. So let's go to the next one. True or false? Armanino offers more than audit and tax services. All right, good job, most of you. The answer is true. So in addition to audit and tax, we offer business management, consulting, risk assurance and advisory services, blockchain and digital asset services, and we also have an affiliate entity called AMF Media Group, which does PR and marketing and advertising. All right, we are almost done. So good job, Radiant Kitten, in the lead still. So true or false, Armanino is a certified B Corporation. All right, so the answer is true. We actually got certified in March of 2021, I believe, so pretty fresh. Okay. Oh, nice. I love that it's competitive. Okay, so here's the last one. Which program is not affiliated with our Armanino Foundation? Is it the Great Give, Dollars for Doers, Volunteer Vacations, or the Met Gala? Yes, good job. As much as I wish the Met Gala was sponsored by our foundation, it definitely is not. So just to give you a quick overview, the Great Give is a day where our offices close down and we get to give back to different nonprofits, and many of them are our clients, so it feels great to give back to them. Dollars for Doers is where the firm will give a donation to a nonprofit that you volunteer at. So if you volunteer for 8 hours, they will give them a certain hourly donation for your time. Volunteer Vacations is where the firm sponsors our employees to take a vacation but also volunteer. So in 2019 it was our last one in person before COVID, and people went to Thailand and volunteered at an elephant sanctuary and taught English, which sounds like heaven to me. So let's see where everyone landed and who our winners are. So in third place, we have Fast Gazelle, good job, 6 out of 9. Second place, Radiant Kitten. And the first place winner is Silly Cheetah, good job. So for those of you that won, please direct message me in Zoom, say what place you were in and send me your email address so I can send you a little gift card. Thank you so much for playing. Hopefully that was fun for you. I feel like that's way more fun to introduce than, you know, through PowerPoint. So hopefully you had a good time. So now we are going to dive into the meat of our discussion, which is talking about requisite professional skills. So I want to start off by defining what is requisite. So according to Google, it is a thing that is necessary for the achievement of a specified end. So basically it's skills that you can acquire prior to starting your career in public accounting. So I thought of, and our professionals too, thought of a good chunk of skills that you use when you're in public accounting, but you can also start working on them now. It'll be even better if you start working on them now. So my time in public accounting taught me how to be a mature professional. You learn so many things. I'll never regret my time in it because it just teaches you so many things that you have to be good at in order to succeed. So professionals, each of you are going to speak to one. We're going to talk about what they are, why they're important, and how you can start working on them now as a student. So I'm going to call on one of you for each of them, but all of you can feel free to contribute if you'd like to. So first one I want to start with that I think is really important and I absolutely love talking about is your mindset. So there's something called a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, and having a growth mindset coming into your career is essential. So we have a mindset expert on our call, Ken Tiesdell. So do you want to start off telling us the difference between a growth and a fixed mindset, why it's important to have a growth mindset, and how they can work on this now?
Sure. Absolutely. Thanks, Tara. So this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. I have the great pleasure of speaking about this topic to interns and our brand new staff. It's based on an overall concept of mindset. And an author named Carol Dweck, who is a PhD, had done a book of the same name, Mindset, and found that most people break into two categories. You either have a fixed mindset or you have a growth mindset. Fixed mindset folks believe skills are born. What you have when you're born is it. I'm as smart as I'm going to be. I'm as athletic as I'm going to be. I'm as accomplished as I'm going to be. In contrast, a growth mindset person says, no, skills are built. They're not born. You have to practice at something. You have to put in the work and the effort and just have at-bats to create skills to be successful at anything. Fixed mindset person cares more about how they look than what the final results are. I don't want to look bad. I don't want to look foolish. I'm with my peers and I don't want to look like I'm dumb. I'm not going to ask that question. I'm not going to make that statement. Growth mindset person is focused on the process. What do I need to do to tweak this whole process to get my end result? I'm okay if I fail along the way. And that's probably been the biggest hurdle that most students have to get over, is their fear of failure. Your fear keeps you in what we call a cage and distinguishes you from being able to get out into the wild. We like to compare it to a zoo tiger versus a wild tiger, right? You're kept in your cage, you're fed, everything is easy, it's not hard, you're safe. Versus a tiger that's out in the wild, they've got to learn to hunt, they've got to learn to find shelter, protect their cubs, the whole bit, and they learn a ton of skills along the way. Same tiger, same DNA, same genetics. One is forced to learn, the other one is not forced to learn at all. And we really have tried to tap in as a firm to a growth mindset that says mistakes are simply opportunities to learn, period. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes. Quite frankly, you're not trying hard enough if you're not making mistakes. We do not care if you, quote unquote, look bad. Don't worry about that. We want to get the process correct to really allow you to learn in an environment that is completely enriched with learning, as opposed to being scared to, uh-oh, I might make a mistake. Don't worry about that. So I think what we've tried to do as a firm is really encourage our staff, especially the brand new ones, to live in an environment of a growth mindset. You may not be good at something right now, it doesn't matter. Keep at it, keep trying, keep doing research, keep doing your continuing education. You will get good at this, we promise you. It's a really important concept, and you all have been used to being incredibly successful. In high school, you got great grades. You're really killing it here in college, and you don't want to take away from that bar at all, right? And it's hard to get into an environment, in a professional environment that's new to you, that's anything other than the absolute best success. And I'm telling you, you're going to stumble, you're going to fall on your face. That is okay. I did it. Tara did it. Kelsey did it. It doesn't matter. We all learn from it, right? That's all what we're asking you to do in our firm. So I think it's quite frankly liberating to live in a growth mindset. It takes a lot of pressure away from I'm going to look bad to I'm going to get a result because I'm doing all these things to make it work.
Thanks, Ken. Yeah, I would highly recommend reading that book. It changed my life. So thanks, Ken. Let's move on to the next one. So something that's really important at Armanino, and I mean, it's one of our values, but also is just important in life and any job that you have, is having positive energy or positive attitude. So Liz, do you want to talk about why this is so important and how they could start working on this now?
Yeah, so besides the fact that it's one of our values, I believe that positive energy going into kind of whatever situation is essential in order for people to like be motivated to continue even during hard times. For example, I'm in tax and we have really long busy seasons where we're working, 50, 60, 70 hours a week. And sometimes we're having to email clients and there's situations that need researching. And sometimes we get into a funk where financials change on us at the last moment. So sometimes we just kind of have to bite the bullet and have a positive energy and keep going, because if not, we're always going to be like, man, I can't believe this sucks. And having a negative attitude really doesn't support anybody else into trying to achieve the goal. So I really believe having positive energy, having a positive attitude will only contribute to a person's success instead of bringing them down and being like, okay, can I really do this? I can't do this. And then, whatever you put out into the world is what you're going to get. So if you're putting out negativity, you're only going to receive negativity. And I think that if you put out positivity, then you're just going to receive positive energy back. So yeah.
Love that. Thanks, Liz. Kelsey, Ken, anything you wanted to add in?
Just real quick for me, and Kelsey, you can take it away for sure. Positive energy is such a force multiplier. It is contagious. It really gets our teams, fired up about what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish. There's nothing more of a energy suck than someone who is really, really negative. It has the potential to bring the whole team down, whereas positive energy absolutely builds everybody up, and it is so, so important to have.
Yeah, I was going to add, everyone has bad days, but that's when you rely on your team to be positive and to kind of bring you up out of that. You're allowed to have a bad day, but you don't want to have a bad attitude all the time, because that's when it starts to stand out negatively and really affect sort of the team and like your own like work life.
Yeah, thank you all for sharing. So happy people are going to order mindset. Seriously, it's going to change your life. Sorry. Okay, so thank you all. So moving on to the next one, Kelsey, I'm going to go back to you on this, but something that you realize in any part of accounting that you do, and probably in many other professions as well, but communication is essential. So not only do you do, well, I shouldn't say it like that. You do verbal communication, you do written communication, you do internal communication, external. So it is super essential. So Kelsey, do you want to expand on that, why that's important, and how you can work on that right now?
Yeah, so communication is huge in any job you have, but I would say especially in public accounting, because our job is to have a client relationship with everyone we work with. And we also need to communicate like internally. We don't always sit like next to the person that we're on the team with. Sometimes they're in a different office. Sometimes they're in a different state. So learning how to communicate is really important. One of the things like that you guys can do right now, take like a creative writing class or any sort of writing class in school, because learning how, this sounds so silly, but learning how to like write something will help you so much when it comes to actually joining the workforce. You'd be surprised how many people come and they can't write an email that like makes logical sense and like has a structure and it like follows like certain like patterns. And I think that's really big. There's also this program called Toastmasters. So I'm pretty sure there's like a local one to you guys by CSUN, But Toastmasters is huge. It forces you to get out of your comfort zone, and you go and you have to write a speech and then present a speech. And anytime you use any sort of filler words like, yeah, anything like that, they ring a bell. And at first it's totally nerve-wracking, and they ring a bell like 100 times while you give your speech because you're using all the filler words. But it teaches you how to have confidence in yourself when you speak and learn how to kind of filter out those words, talk slower, and really focus on what you're presenting. Also, with communication, it's important that you actually do it. You'll learn that everyone communicates differently, and you have to adapt to how different people communicate, but you also have to communicate yourself. If you're struggling with something and you need help, ask for help. Don't sit there by yourself and try to figure it out on your own and struggle through it. It's okay to raise your hand and say, hey, I don't know how to do this. How can I get it done? Who can help me get it done? Also, with communication, sometimes you might not feel comfortable going like straight to the boss or straight to the partner or the manager to talk about it. So you can also develop relationships with people that you work with that are kind of like your buddies. And maybe they're like one level above you, and you can go to them with the problem, and then maybe they can take it higher up. And so finding someone to help you with your communication, like maybe you don't feel comfortable, but you can go to someone else who you do feel comfortable with, and they can help you out. And then I kind of mentioned this, but learning communication style is big, especially in our industry. Certain clients want it straight and to the point. They want you to send an email. Like we joke, there's this thing like TLDR, like too long didn't read, like give them a summary sentence and then get into the detail. Some clients won't read the detail, they'll only read the summary sentence. So you have to learn how that client works. Some clients like pleasantries. They want to talk to you about their life and their weekend and their vacation and ask them about it. Some clients want to know, they don't want you to know anything about their personal life, just the work that you're doing. And so you really have to adapt and learn how to work with those people so that you can communicate with them more effectively.
Great points, Kelsey. Ken, Liz, anything you both want to add?
Yeah, communication, it's the key to how we get things done, really. We do not know if a staff is struggling with something unless they, again, kind of tailing into the mindset discussion, unless they raise their hand and say, I literally have no idea what I'm doing. That's okay. Let's sit down with you. Let's go through it. And it is important more and more as you roll through your career from staff to senior manager and hopefully to partner. We can't fly blind. You know, living in a vacuum is really challenging, and we're not mind readers, so we really need to know what's happening at all times so we can help, you know. So absolutely monumental to what we do.
And to add to that, I know that when I was in college, when we were learning some sort of concept and somebody didn't understand, it was probably guaranteed that some other person didn't know. And if you come into work and say like, oh, can I have help? And somebody explains it to you, and then they ask you, okay, did you understand? It's to your disadvantage if you go, yeah, I understood. And then in reality, you didn't, because then you have to fess up like, oh, actually, I didn't understand. And now could you explain it again? Just bring all your courage and say, actually, I didn't understand. Can you explain it again? I almost guarantee you they're going to appreciate that more than you interrupting them again 10 minutes later saying like, hey, I didn't understand actually.
So true. Also, there's a class at CSUN, I forget the number now, it's been a little while since I've been there, but it's on business writing. You have to take it as part of the accounting program. It's like 351 comms or A or something like that. Definitely pay attention in that class. They teach you so many useful skills for especially like how to write emails. Definitely pay attention to that. So Liz, I'm going to shoot this back to you. So teamwork is a primary function in accounting. You work in teams no matter what department you are in. Luckily, I know CSUN makes you work in teams a lot, which is awesome. But also having a firm first attitude is super important at Armanino. So Liz, can you talk about what it looks like to work in a team at Armanino and what firm first even means?
Okay, so teamwork I know it would be very interesting because people think of tax accountants as like, you're going to sit in your cube and you're going to be on your computer and you're not going to talk to anybody. But I feel like we talk just as much as all the audit people because we have to communicate with all your clients. We have to communicate amongst each other, depending on what work we have going on and the structure of like scheduling. So collaboration and teamwork are very big in tax accounting, as well as audit, as well as consulting and everything. So I know that's one of the stereotypes that tax accountants get, but teamwork is huge. We, like I said, we talk to everybody. My team talks to Kelsey a lot, and sometimes we need to loop in auditors to see how audits are coming. So definitely about the communication, teamwork is just as important. And having a firm first mentality or like a firm first attitude kind of goes into like, how can you help someone to help achieve the firm's goal? So for example, if I have a coworker who like has a medical emergency, but I have free time on my plate, or I can probably get through something, I would want to help her to help achieve the goal of getting through our deadline work. So it doesn't mean, you know, give up your whole life to just do work all day, but when you can, you do. So when you can help, do help, because that helps the overall goal. It would only be bad if you have like, let's say 10 hours of work and, you know, you're just going to say, okay, I just finished and I'm going off, but you still could have worked a little longer when other people are struggling. Same goes with some of the teams in tax. Some people could be really swamped because, you know, people could be going on medical leave or they have family emergencies and work just can't get done by that team member. Other teams come in and jump and they help. So that's having like a firm first mentality, helping when you can.
Thanks, Liz. So I know teamwork looks a little bit different in audit and consulting. So Ken, can you give an overview of how it differs in audit?
Yeah, and I want to make an overarching comment about what Elizabeth said as well. Firm first does not mean putting the firm before your own personal needs, okay? It is not, I don't care if you've got to go to a funeral, you're going to work. That is not what firm first means. It means, you know, I may want to do something, but is that the best for the firm? I'm an audit partner. If there's a client that is actually way better suited for our consulting team, and that engagement would cause an independence problem, so I can't do the audit, but that consulting engagement is going to be really good, it's going to be really lucrative, it's going to create a long-term client, I need to say, I'm not going after the audit. It does not benefit me at all if I don't get the audit. My consulting partner will get that credit, so to speak. But you know what? This is better for the firm. I'm going to take my own personal desires of I want a new client and put that to the side, and it makes more sense for this tax engagement or consulting engagement to be for this client to be with them, not with me. That's what it really means. And we do that all the time in audit. I'm involved in a couple of industry groups within our firm, and there are times where it doesn't make sense for me to get involved. It makes much more sense for our tax and consulting folks to get involved, and I need to step aside for that. So we got to look at independence issues, for instance, when we're trying to do multiple services. And we need to be cognizant in our audits, obviously, of our professional ethics. It always has to be what is in the best light for the firm. We cannot do this, we can do this. That's a big deal. And, you know, is this client really a good fit for the firm? I'd love to bring on this new client, but overall, they're going to be a mess. They're argumentative, they're messy. Our staff is just going to be so annoyed with this client every time. Sometimes we need to let go of that client or not even look at them at all.
Thanks, Ken. Kelsey, anything you want to add? Okay.
They covered it all.
Perfect. Okay, Ken, going back to you, this always happens. The last person that talks, I go back to them. So Ken, what is emotional intelligence? Why is that becoming more important, or we're just seeing the importance of it now? And how can students work on that?
Yeah, emotional intelligence, really, really important in your professional life. And what it is the self-regulation and self-awareness of managing your emotions in all the different circumstances that your professional life presents you. We all get upset. We all get angry. We all get moody, bad moods, up, down, whatever. The goal is for you to regulate and manage those emotions in all circumstances. And I'll give you an example. I have, and I'm going to try to be really careful not to give away he or she. I'm going to try to say they. So I hope I get this right. I have an audit manager who does outstanding work. They have a little bit of a problem with this exact topic, emotional intelligence. There was a circumstance where they were working with a senior. That senior could not complete the job and just kind of ghosted them. This manager I'm talking about absolutely went ballistic, locked them out of the file, sent all these emails that the senior was horrible, doing terrible work, and absolutely went off the deep end. The perception of that manager by me as partner, as other partners, was not good. Like, why did you handle that this way? You absolutely the needle went so far the other way that it absolutely took away all the great work this person was doing. And I had to have a talk with them about, you've got to tone this down. I know you're upset. Let's talk about how you would handle this better in the future. This person has always had this problem, just something triggers them and they go off. The inability to be self-aware is very damaging. You've got to be aware. I'm feeling myself get really hot right now. I need to take a step aside, cool down, and be able to discuss this with my colleagues in a totally professional manner. You're falling on the sword when you continue to have your emotions lead how you go through a particular situation. And it is a skill to be able to, number one, be self-aware, number two, to be able to regulate and be able to smooth that emotional roller coaster out and be able to discuss things with your superiors or your peers, talk them out, get them resolved in a kind of a calm manner, and move on to the next one. But the spikes and having you be led by your emotions can really get you in a tough spot, and unfortunately wipe away what is probably great work that you're doing. Nobody remembers that. They remember how you had an absolute outbreak and went ballistic on somebody, a client, whatever the case may be. So we see it all the time, and we try to address it and teach about it constantly as well. It's a real thing, and it's a real skill to learn, and it's hard for people who are type A, very emotional, extremely driven. You got to be able to be self-aware and regulate that.
Thanks, Ken. Good description. Liz, Kelsey, anything you want to add on emotional intelligence? You don't have to.
No, I think Ken covered it all.
Yeah, I nailed it. Okay, Kelsey, so we talk about critical thinking in public accounting a lot. So what does that even mean, and how does the firm help you enhance your critical thinking skills?
Yeah, so I found a definition online that I liked that kind of is I'm using it as my definition of critical thinking, but it's disciplined thinking that is clear, rational, open-minded, and informed by evidence. So critical thinking is huge in any job that you have, because it's no longer, it sort of involves everything that we've talked about today, like using your emotional intelligence, using your communication skills, and really thinking things through and giving answers that really make sense. The firm does a really good job with different trainings for professional skills. And obviously you guys are attending things like this now in college, and those things will continue if you come to Armanino or any other public accounting firm. But specifically at Armanino, we have a whole, it's called Elevate Learn. And it's a whole program where you can sign up for different courses that will help with your critical thinking skills. It'll teach you how to, one, think more critically, also how to use that in your everyday work life. And you'll, like, these classes, in my opinion, are super helpful. I send them to the people that I talk with, that I've coached on a pretty consistent basis, just to kind of like check in, like, hey, I think this would be good for you to like listen and help you kind of like learn and grow. And also, when you guys are, I'm not a CPA, but I know the process. But as you're going through like studying for your CPA exam, critical thinking is huge. A lot of what's on the test involves you like critical thinking skills. And so it's super important to sort of like focus on that and make sure that like you're growing in that area and not just like having a narrow mindset, but like really willing to like look at everything that's happening, and really think about what the best solution is and like how you'll get there.
Awesome, Kelsey. Thank you. Ken, Liz, anything you want to add?
I think Kelsey nailed it.
Yeah, you guys are doing great. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. So one of the biggest things I personally learned in public accounting, but I also sucked at, is time management. It is so important. So Ken, what does time management mean in public accounting? Why is it so important?
Yeah, and I will try to utilize it effectively because I know we're running out of time. We got other topics and questions that we want to have time for. Time management is huge in our profession. You are not ever just working on one engagement, one client, one thing, one project. There are always multiple projects going on at any one time. I had the other week, I think I had 8 audits out in the field during 1 week, and I've got to check in with teams and make sure everybody's okay. Elizabeth has a gazillion tax returns to do at any particular time at various stages of completion. Kelsey's got a bunch of consulting projects going on at any one time. So your ability to spin plates while juggling balls, you will get good at it in this profession, I'm telling you. And quite frankly, you're forced to, because there is no singular path. Okay, I'm going to get this all the way to fruition, done, move on to this one all the way. You know, you can't do that. There's too many stages along the way with too many clients. You're forced to get good at it. I promise you will get good. Tara's being a little too hard on herself. I don't think she was that bad at all, but she's nodding yes. I've only known her as a recruiter, not as a tax professional. So anyways, you will you have to be able to prioritize. That's step number 1. What is the highest priority of project that I need to do right now? Usually it's either small things that you can knock out, boom, 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 1, 2, 3, or something that has a hard deadline that's fast approaching. Longer projects, you know, that's going to take a chunk of time. You need to schedule maybe first part of your day. We employ a concept here at the firm, in particular in audit, called deep work. Sometimes we block out on our calendars 2, 3, 4 hour chunks of time. We shut off our email, we do not answer our phone, and we are laser focused on the project that we're doing. And you will be amazed how much you can get done in even an hour's time of deep work than if you're just kind of frenetic and answering emails as they come in, and oh, the phone's ringing, and oh, I've got to do this. You end up spreading yourself so thin that you get almost nothing accomplished. So deep work is a really interesting concept that I've found personally is incredibly helpful in getting things done when I know I need to really concentrate. My brain needs to be on this 100%, and I cannot be distracted by anybody else. Yes, you absolutely need to fine-tune your time management skills. You will be incredibly successful in this profession if you're able to do it well.
In consulting, specifically in my department, we talk about this concept of like important but not urgent, and urgent but not important, and how to like prioritize things. Like, yeah, something might be like urgent, like it might need to be done like as soon as possible, and like people need it done, but is it important? Like you might have something else going on that's more important, and that you should like pivot to that and focus on that because it is more important. And maybe it's a bigger project, or maybe it's a client who has something else going on. But I think it's important to weigh those things. Like, is it urgent or is it important? And like, what is more, I guess, important to you? And everyone sort of uses everyone needs to kind of develop their own time management skills. But what Ken was talking about with deep work, that works so well for me. You put it on your calendar, you know that that's what you're doing. And you guys can even do it now as students, like deep work for your accounting class, deep work for your management class, and use that hour to focus exclusively on that with zero distractions. And it really helps you to kind of get things done in a more like strategic and like faster fashion than just like all day.
And if you're having trouble because everybody's telling you everything is important and everything is urgent, then that's when you communicate to all your managers at once and you tell them, you say everything is important and everything is urgent. Can somebody tell me which one is more important and urgent? So.
And just super quick, and we can move on to another topic. I had this exact discussion with a coachee of mine. So all of us are assigned staff that we help mentor and coach along the way. He reached out to me and said, I've never been so backlogged in my entire life. Help. I literally don't even know what to do. And we sat down and we went through all his jobs and we ranked them by priority. You don't need to do that now. This has to happen right now. And we went through it and he was like, I feel so much better. Thank you. And he just needed a fresh set of eyes to help him through it. And Elizabeth's point is you've got support. You're not on an island. Someone's going to be able to help you work your way through it.
Yeah, great points. And this is definitely something I wish I worked on when I was in college. Even if you just do it with a peer and you're like, hey, I am overloaded. Can you help me? I used to do it with my mom. I'd be like, can you help me and just look at this and just hear me talk it out and help me prioritize? So definitely important. So I just want to go over 2 more points really quick. So hopefully professionals answer in like a minute or less, and then we'll move on to questions. So Liz, I want you to talk about organization and attention to detail. So what does it look like to be organized? Why is it important? How do you do that?
Organization is important because when a manager asks you what's on your plate, as in what are the tasks you have, it's so much easier to be all like, I have my list here. My client list includes 3 different individual returns, a partnership, a C Corp, and this is all needing to be done, by Friday or something because we have internal client deadlines. So I use my calendar as a way to figure out what time I can do what task and organize my priority list. But also I use a spreadsheet to figure out all the different clients that I have across each manager, their deadlines, and what needs to be done in order for that tax return to be complete. It only helps me, and it also helps the managers when they ask me, what do you have to do this week? Do you have a lot to do? Can I move stuff around if I need something done more urgently than what you have capacity for?
Thanks, Liz. Good, concise answer. I loved that. So last point, Kelsey, can you talk about what it's important to have staff or seniors, anyone, be a self-starter and be proactive. So what does that look like to you? Like what impresses you and you're like, wow, they're a self-starter?
Asking me what they can do next before I have to ask them if they need something to do. So you'll see a lot, like when you guys start in public accounting, you're given a task, and once you complete it, you're given another task, and so on. If you sit there and you wait for someone to say like, hey, are you done with this? And you've been done with it for 2 days and just sitting at your desk, I hate that. Like, chat me, call me, like, what can I do to help? Like, try to get on top of everything and make your team feel like you want to work and you want them to assign you things and you want to get involved and you want to become a reliable team member. Because that just, I feel like for your own career growth, that helps you get promoted faster because people notice that you're wanting to do the work and that you're putting yourself out there and that you're trying hard.
Thanks, Kelsey. All right, so we're going to go into like a Q&A session where you guys can ask us anything. First, I did want to mention that technically our applications closed yesterday at 11:55 p.m., but they're closed on Handshake. But if you still want to apply, we have internships and associate positions in audit, business management, consulting, RAS, or risk assurance and advisory, and tax. So if you would like to apply and haven't already, please do it by end of day today. We are currently going through applications, setting up interviews for next week. So please do that today, and you can only do it on our website, but that's all we need. So with that being said, what questions do you have for us? You can raise your hand like Yitz did, or you can come off mute after this, but Yitz, we will start with you. Go ahead.
For those applying for internships within a service line, I know that within service lines, there are subsectors such as within consulting. Would we be able to preference those or pick one within the application process?
Yes, so this only applies to the consulting position, but in that application, when you go in, it gives a description of the 3 different departments of consulting we're hiring into, and then you're able to select your preference from a drop down, which one you'd like to do.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, what other questions do you have for us? It could be anything about the firm, recruiting process, anything.
So I had a question on this for Ken, because it's audit in my interest area service. So how you just like before the pandemic audit, we will have some just a few audit. So how you prepare for just like how you advise for the first year staff to prepare for the few audit, because I think this is the most we scare at the first year we come to the audit service.
Yeah, first year staff going into an audit, luckily we have seniors who will be their safety net, so to speak, and responsible for training them. So we never send staff to an engagement all by themselves or, you know, essentially alone. You will always have a senior with you, obviously pre-pandemic in the room with you. And while we're doing, you know, a lot of remote audits now, they schedule Zoom meetings where they will sit, share screen, go through the questions at hand. The senior will kind of tee it up with the staff to say, here, okay, I want you to take cash. You're going to be doing this section. Here are all the procedures, and we design procedures for every single one of the areas we're going to test. Here are all the procedures you need to do. Let's go over step by step. Do you have any questions? Yes, no, go through it. Go at it. Staff will then go start doing their work, come back to the senior with questions that they have, go on to the next section. I want you to work on receivables. Here you go. Here's all the steps we need to do, and so on and so forth. No questions are dumb. We want to hear all the questions. Staff are never left to their own, and I think Kelsey was the one who talked about communication. Big. Staff needs to tell their senior when they don't understand something, when they have questions, and it's best to accumulate your questions and then schedule a half an hour. Let's go through all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Boom, got it. Here's your next task and go. As opposed to every 17 minutes, hey, I've got another question. I've got another question. You know, accumulate them to where I'm at a stopping point in this section. I can't go anymore. Here are all the things I need to get, you know, uncorked, so to speak. So I think our firm does a fantastic job of on the job, hands-on training to where staff feels that they can be independent, but they've always got that safety net there. And if the senior isn't available, the manager is. And if the manager isn't available, for instance, I am as partner, doesn't matter. You know, open chain of communication.
Okay, thank you very much for your answer.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ken. All right, Henry, what is your question?
So I know Armanino has like the mentor program, right, where everybody's partnered up with an associate or senior associate. How else does the firm kind of promote like interactivity or like networking between people? Or yeah, I don't know if that made sense.
I did. Kelsey, do you want to start off since you're part of the SAB?
Sure. So we have a few ways that kind of like promote like collaboration and like teamwork across the firm. So all of our offices have a culture committee that put on events for that office, like coffee carts or like happy hours that everyone can kind of go to and like meet people in other departments. The other way is through our staff advisory board, which is a team of about like 20 different staff and seniors at the firm who meet monthly with our COO and our CEO to talk about staff issues. So they also put on different like programs as well. based on the issues they hear about from staff. And so going to those events is the best thing you can do because you'll meet other people at the firm. There's a lot of people that I've met. I was on the SAB that I've met through the SAB that are now like my mentors within the firm. And it just helps to build your network within the firm. Just like you build your network in college, you want your network within the firm. So like if I have a client and like for instance, I had a client and one of their investors needed an audit done for another company. And like I called the audit department and like we were able to help them because I knew someone in the audit department from going to these different events and meeting people within the firm.
Thanks, Kelsey. Ken, Liz, anything to add?
Yeah, I was going to say, Kelsey said it, SAB and MAB. The Staff Advisory Board and Managers Advisory Board, perfect ways for you as staff to get involved in the firm. And I've seen policy changed in the firm from suggestions that have come out of folks like yourself, staff, that said, you know what, this whole vacation policy stinks. Everybody else has unlimited PTO. Why don't we do it? We kind of looked at it and went, they're right. Why don't we do it? And we changed it. So it's incredibly powerful tool and really gets you connected to your peers as well as exposure to managers and partners to kind of show us what your thoughts are because we want to hear it.
Participation is key. So even if you don't want to be part of like the core group that handles the event planning, we always need participants too. So that's a great way to get connected to other people because if you're playing a game and you're trying to win money, then you can talk to other people and be like, hey, let's start a group.
Yeah, we also assign buddies and performance coaches. So you're not on your own when you first start. You have your buddy you can go to, your performance coach is an advocate for you at the firm. So you can also have informal mentors. Ken's my mentor. He does audit and I did recruiting, but I asked him to be my mentor and people are very open to that. So I know it's 1 o'clock, so I want to be respectful of time. So thank you all so much for having us and for asking amazing questions and for being so engaged. So I put our contact information in the chat. Feel free to email us, connect with us on LinkedIn. And also, like I said, if you are interested in applying for one of our positions, please do that by end of day. So looking forward to seeing you guys in the recruiting process and thanks again.
Bye, everybody. Great to meet you.
Everyone.